taking a break from Summit Talk this week because as of recording this, at least, there's not a whole lot that's changed since last week's video, but we'll see what fun topic or update or whatever I can come up with for the next video. If you do have any questions about our summit or topic requests, please feel free to leave a comment and let me know. That's actually super helpful. So I would love for you to do that. But today I wanted to talk a little bit about how I do all the things I do, include hosting summits on part-time hours. For the first 7-ish years of my business, I worked a pretty full-time schedule and sometimes a lot more than full-time. But in July of last year, 2024, all at once, I cut my hours in half to start homeschooling my oldest daughter. And that gave me a new perspective. I never thought that something like that is something I'd want to do because I love work. I love working. But it's wild what you'll do for the people and probably the pets and all of that you care about. You'll do what you got to do. But I'll be real, it was a wake-up call for me. It was hard, and sometimes it still is, but I've gotten into a groove, and we're still accomplishing a lot as a team with me working about 20 hours per week. So I wanted to share some insights as to how I maximize my time while also trying not to burn myself out in those 20 hours. So my hope is that maybe this is helpful for those of you who are also on a part-time schedule, or just interesting if that's not you. First, though, before I just dive into tips and here's what I do and here's what you should do, I want you to know a few things that you should know about me and my team and how I work. So first, I am neurotypical as far, at least, as my ability to sit down and do focused work goes. I can fall into hyper focus with work very quickly and go for hours. No chronic health issues or anything like that limits how much I can work. I can just go. So that's definitely something to consider. I also love and thrive on structure and processes and checking tasks off lists. Okay. And I also have a sizable team. I have 1 full-time employee, 1 almost full-time, 3 part-time, and a couple contractors. So I am surrounded by really wonderful people. So it is not just me doing everything you see. And obviously that has a huge part to play. So I want to set the stage with those things just for full transparency. And so you're not comparing yourself to me in ways where we might be very different in the ways that our brains work, the ways that we function and accomplish tasks, or the support we have. Okay. And I'm realizing I'm gonna have to go through these things really quickly to keep this video short. I think this could probably be a full length podcast episode, but I do think I have one from years ago where I talked about hosting a summit with a newborn and getting things done part-time hours. So, you can go back or reply to our email or comment on the video for a link to a longer episode. It's just a little bit more dated. But feel free to comment with questions if you have any, or want me to dive into something I'm going to say here in more depth. I'm happy to do that. So the first thing I do to make sure I'm maximizing my limited hours is that I know my job each week. My job is made up of things that only I can do, at least right now. So that includes supporting my team. It includes client support in certain ways. My team can take care of a lot of that as well. It includes content creation for social media, our email list, these videos, the podcast. I don't do all of those things every week, but content creation is my job. Calls, big picture strategy, and execution of the higher level pieces of that strategy. That's my job. So within then knowing my job each week, as a team, we're also just focused on one core project at a time. I used to be able to manage more than that, but now it is just one, and it has to be just one. And right now that's our summit. So once our summit is done, I'll move into planning a challenge because that is just such a perfect next step after hosting a summit. But I know my job on a weekly basis, and other than the things that just repeat no matter what, the client support, the content, we're focused on one core project, and that really helps. I also go into each week with a plan. So I live and breathe Asana. We map out every single project we're going to do in there. So I never sit down for the day and I'm what am I going to work on today? No, Asana tells me exactly what I'm going to do. It would be a disaster for me. I actually would really have a hard time doing anything or accomplishing anything or not feeling anxious if I didn't have something being here's what you should do today. So each day I go into Asana, I pull out the most important tasks for the day into a less overwhelming list, and I just start plugging away. And that's how I do it. I'm very focused in what I do. Something else that really helps me a lot is something I started a couple years ago now, and that is only allowing calls on 2 slots per week. Calls are a huge energy suck for me, and even though I don't mind being on calls once I'm there. I'm very anxious seeing them on my calendar and like leading up to them. I have a hard time focusing or getting anything done. It's just like not good for my energy. So I only take calls on Tuesdays and Thursday afternoons. And we cut it off around 5 calls per week. Like we'll block it off if once I hit 5 calls. And that includes like client calls, calls for our accelerator program, things like that. Like I will book out calls as far as I have to, even like sales calls. I won't go above 5 per week. I would just get nothing done if I allowed calls every day of the week. That's all I'd be able to do. Something else I do is that I'm really quick to outsource. And I know there's a lot of privilege in saying that, but also know it didn't come easy. Like I worked for years to get to that point. But I'd also encourage you to be quick to outsource once you can, even when it feels like a stretch. If you have something you're doing, you know it's working to bring in revenue, it's something someone else could do. Like I would challenge you to see where you could pass it off so that it opens you up to do something else. Obviously, you want to make sure you're like making more than outsourcing the task is costing you, but be quick to outsource. So usually if we're adding something new to the business, I'll do it the first couple of times. And as soon as I can see what the results are looking like, I'll take 1 or 2 actions. If I don't like the results, we ditch it. We're done. If I do like the results, we systematize it and my team takes over. So I am quick to cut things out or get them off my plate because I just don't have room for more stuff on my plate. If it's something new that has to be on my plate, it just can't happen. Now, keep in mind that with outsourcing as much as I do and having a team the size that I do who want to stay in their job because I treat them and pay them well, that does give me lower profit margins, around 30%. But I'm okay with it because I see it as buying back my time. I will take lower profit if I can still pay myself plenty, pay my team well enough that they want to stay and keep doing what they do, and have the time I need with my family at this stage of life. Maybe that's not the decision you would make, but I am so good with it right now. I'm so at peace with it right now. And last, if I'm feeling a bunch of resistance on a task, I listen to that resistance. So if it's just like actually a hard task to do, sometimes I'll like walk on my walking pad or grab a drink or snack or like something to just feel a little bit more alive. And I'll just start and see what happens. Usually when I start, it's a good thing. But if I still feel a ton of resistance, I move on pretty quickly. Usually I can come back to it the next day and bust right through it. And if not, a lot of times I'll just resist or just ditch it because the resistance is usually there for a reason, at least for me. So if I feel resistance on something, we're moving on or we're getting rid of it because I don't have time to be slowed down. And again, usually if there's resistance around something, like it's not a good sign. So that's how I do it. Like I know my job each week and I go in with a plan. I allow a limited number of calls into 2 slots per week. We focus on 1 core project at a time. I'm very quick to outsource and I listen to resistance when I feel it rather than letting it slow me down. I also want to say it's not all rainbows and butterflies. Like I do often come across things that I want to do that I can't do in this season. For example, I am dying to do a full overhaul of our program content and curriculum again, which I typically do every 18 months to 2 years. Like it's time, but I don't have time. So I think that'll be like a summer project where I can book high school babysitters for a couple weeks and knock it out. But like there are things like that where I want to do them, but I can't. And I just have to accept that right now. I can also end up overwhelmed pretty easy. It's gotten better as I've settled into this routine, but I'm not going to tell you that I never look at my task list and realize it's impossible in the time that I have available. It definitely makes me narrow in on what's most important and just be okay with being like, well, that's not getting done today. Let's see if it feels more important tomorrow. And that's just how it is. So this video is longer than I want, but I hope it was helpful or interesting. Let me know if you have any questions on any of these things or any tips of your own. You can leave a comment below this video if you're watching or jump into the Semi-Host Hangout Facebook group. But yeah, thanks for watching and I hope it was fun.